Welcome to the podcast. Apparently, podcasting is a new phenomenon.
Yeah, it is.
Like the
everyone's doing
YouTubes,
it.
everyone's doing it apparently. So, we're just here. I'm just here with my good old mate Lorenzo Larraño,
Thank you for having me.
or Larrancito as they like to call him.
Lorencito. Oh,
Yeah.
that means small Lorencito, right?
Yeah, add Ito to pretty much anything. Yeah. So I got some new equipment here. Well, not new. It's all secondhand, but new to me.
And I think you were going to ask me. I think we're going to start talking about basically sketches that we get up to.
So I'm gonna start doing podcasts, post sketches.
Yeah.
And getting some comedians in, and then pretty much talking about the sketch, and then just spitting the shit.
I know you mostly as a character comedian, and I saw you. I think the first time I saw you do character comedy was back in 2019 over in Highlander.
Yeah.
And I was impressed because I was like, man, this. Everybody else was doing just like regular, old school, stand up, normal stand up, standard stand up, and I saw you get up as this Indian fella.
Yeah, man. You never know. Maybe I did my ancestry. There's something in there. Maybe.
I mean, I actually thought you were an Indian fella. Like, there's white Indians. Like, they were colonized by the Brits. And I saw you. I was like, okay, maybe he is part Indian. And then you proceeded to do your thing, and then you had an Aussie accent, and I was just like, oh. And then I realized, oh fuck, it's a character. But I only realized when you started like swearing.
I got the bit where it kind of switches.
And he just goes nuts.
Yeah. And like at the start, people think it's serious, and then there's that one moment where it. Yeah.
And now that I think MICF, Melbourne International Comedy Festival, is around, I've been to a couple of shows where, because I've always thought when I started stand up like back in 2019, I always thought it was just normal, just get up on stage, talk about your life and be funny and say a couple of punchlines. But I've been to a couple of shows, weird ones, but weirdly good, where it's more like a theatre show rather than stand up, and then people are loving that more so. Not everyone, but like more so that I've seen people turn up to certain regular stand-ups. What do you think that is?
I think it's just like people like novelty, or they like the unexpected.
Okay. So it's a novelty, like
novelty and unexpected. It's like it's kind of like there's that vaudeville like cabaret format where it's like little acts that change quite a lot, and I think people's attention spans kind of like the not knowing what's next, or like the change, and then because sometimes
seeing something just completely different. Because I've seen you kill when I've seen you do like go to a normal stand-up show, and then everyone's doing like this normal regular stand-up, and then Wog Dog comes on. That character that you do with the
Stavros.
Stavros. Wog, and then he's like a puppet dog, and then people just are like, what's going on here? Or if you do Cassius, the Indian fella that gets up and does that meditation thing, people just don't expect it because they're expecting like a normal stand-up. And coming from a white straight cisgender, I mean, I'm only assuming. I don't want to only assuming. Coming from someone as straight as you, it's straight, right? Doesn't matter. Who cares? Yeah. And then you go up and do this weird characters that are like fun to watch. And then I think that's how we become mates, because I was told like you're the guy to go to, and then come up with a couple of weird characters myself.
But I tried to do straight comedy a bunch of times, and
I've
done all right a few times.
Yeah, I've seen you try. I don't mean it like that. Like I almost find that you not terrified, but what's the word I'm looking for? Like avoid it. I've seen you try to avoid it.
Maybe, yeah. It's weird. It's like
You're not bad.
No, everyone has bad
sets sometimes.
Sets. And I've definitely had good sets. But like it's like quite often I've gone to do some stand up, and then I've thought of like some weird bit, and then at the last minute, I'm like, oh, I'm doing this instead because I'm, and then I'm like,
is that because you've seen somebody bomb on stage and you're like, oh,
no, it's never because of that.
Okay.
I don't even think about people
Then
bombing on stage.
what is it?
Yeah, I don't even think about if someone's crushed it or bombed or whatever.
What do you feel? How do you feel when you see somebody get up on stage? We won't name names, but let's say a particular comedian gets up on stage and just crushes, and it's like fucking blows the roof, and you're next, and you're like, fuck, how do I follow it? Do you feel like, how do I follow that? I'm intimidated, or you're like, yes, they're warm.
It depends, right?
Yeah.
It depends if you're trying new stuff that you're not sure is going to work. Yeah. Then you're like, oh.
I get so scared.
Because they've been so good. But then if it's stuff that you're pretty confident with and you think it's going to work, you're glad that they're crushed.
Yeah.
And it depends on place too. Like if I'm at Speak, it's like...
Speakeasy, yeah.
It's like, I love you always want.
Shout out Speakeasy.
Yeah. It's always good when they crush because you're like, you know that when you get on, they're warm. And the chances are going to be good that you're going to have a good response.
I find that usually when it's a paying crowd and they paid $30 to get in, and everyone's doing well before you, you know it's going to be a good night because they're there to.
Yeah.
They're looking for an emotion. My favorite gigs are when everyone's just having fun, and even when they're not, especially when they go on a tangent. I love watching Oliver Coleman.
Yeah, he's
that dude, when he gets on stage, he just seems like he's sometimes just ad-libbing the whole time, but he's not.
No,
he's hilarious.
There's like a bunch of like comedian theatre kids.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. Because he did theatre, and there's a few where you're like, oh, they did theatre, and you can tell because and
it's more like a theatrical performance rather than stand-up. But then they're good at stand-up too, because like you see them get up and...
He's been working on it. It seems like he's been working a lot on his stand-up.
Yeah. I want to, before I forget, I was at Geelong just this weekend, and there was this old couple that approached me, and they said they saw you do Wog Dog at Esoteric.
Esoteric?
Esoteric, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I overheard
at
them.
Geelong. How did they know?
So they went to Esoteric. They were like
Esoteric,
they were like in their 60s, maybe even older. And they said they were just talking about some guy with a dead dog on his hand. I was like, huh? And then I was just listening, and I was like, oh, and then I'm like, maybe there's a different performer with a puppet performers, right? And they're like, oh, and then he's like, I think he was talking about like being a wog and a dog, and I was like, hey, I know that guy, and I just approached him. I was like, that guy's name is Nicky, and he goes, that's right. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they told me they spoke to you. And
possibly.
Apparently, you were like high. As fuck.
Come on, man.
Were you? Oh, I don't know. Probably everyone was.
Depends which night. Yeah.
And somebody had a go. Some hippie was like, you eat other dogs or you kill other dogs? And you were like, yeah. There's a hippie that heckled you about and wasn't happy about your performance.
Because, oh, really?
Yeah. And then you had like a back and forth banter. With some hippie. Do you remember this? I mean, I'm asking.
I vaguely remember it.
Some hippie having
there was like we were doing we did like 3 nights. So it was like
you performed every night.
Yeah, pretty much every night, but the last night.
How did you go? Like, I mean, I only hear that bit.
It varied. The first night was
good,
really good.
Yeah.
And then they were all okay at least.
Yeah.
The first night was really good.
Yeah. So I also found out that it's also family friendly, that you could bring your kids and stuff.
At a lot of at quite a few. Like some festivals are like super family friendly.
Well,
like
there's drugs everywhere. I wouldn't really want to bring my 3-year-old.
Yeah, maybe not to that one, but like.
Well, they told me they brought their granddaughter. I was surprised. They're they showed me a photo.
It depends, man. Like if you're hanging out with your kid,
you don't give a fuck about your kids.
No. But like if you're hanging out at the campsite and it's just like camping and having a few drinks or whatever, you're not gonna take.
There's no syringes. You're not gonna
take your kid down to the main stage at 2 a.m. Oh, that reminds me. I was doing like a singing. You know how I was part of that hippie singing group. like we go in the forest and sing, whatever.
Oh yeah.
We did this
Your
like
Monday nights.
We did this like doof at. We were doing this like we were part of the nature section at this doof.
Yeah.
And we did our singing stuff, and then afterwards we just got to walk around.
Yeah.
And I go to the dance floor, and there's this couple with a baby that looks like it's about. Like it looks like someone
in the middle of the forest.
It was no, it wasn't in the forest. It was like what's the mansion out east in Heidelberg? But yeah, they were.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
They were at they were at this mansion. Like
it's a rundown kind of mansion. Isn't it?
But it was like this doof, right? And they had this baby that looked like she'd given birth on like the dance floor. It was like tiny. No. It was like it looked like it was a couple of days old.
And it's still skinny.
It had like little earmuffs on. It was tiny. God. It was like too soon.
And what was people? Well, people were like, yeah, all good.
No, they were just around some spot. What you got to do? Go up to them and be like, you don't take.
What are you doing?
Because some people take their little kids there, but this was like too little. It was barely a fetus.
I brought my kid. Okay, I brought my kid to a couple of pubs, but at the age of 3. Yeah. He's 3 now. I've never brought him to restaurants. That's different though, because it's a restaurant. There's beers there. There's, But like, I brought my son to ABC.
Yeah.
Asian Big Cafe.
Yeah.
Like a student bar. I brought him there, but before peak hours. So basically before 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was fine. But we didn't go outside for a smoke.
But I mean, you could definitely take a kid to a festival depending on the festival. Like I wouldn't take him to like a big doof or something. But you could
like
take
Revolver.
Him. Or like there's like Confest or whatever out near the border over Easter. I don't think it's on this year, but they have a whole section that's for families.
Did anybody die at Esatori?
Probably.
Really? No.
I don't know. Probably.
For real.
The ambulances around.
That's insane.
I reckon they could have. I don't know. Like,
I almost died. I hate going to festivals. I've been to one festival because I hated going ever since because I almost died.
What were you doing?
Because okay, so it wasn't even like a wild, parachutes. It's like a Christian festival. So
you almost died at a Christian festival.
Yeah, but people snuck in drugs, and I always knew I was gonna be like
people sneaking in drugs to a Christian festival.
People sneaking in drugs in there. Anyway.
I guess so, but it's just funny. Like I guess it'd be
some people I think had the intention. Most people probably had the intentions of wanting to worship God or Jesus Christ, or whatever, right? So it's a Christian festival, right? But some people probably just there to try and think of some Christian virgins, right? Probably.
Or just
finger people.
Or just have a huge trip, trip around.
That too. And the people I went with were straight up Christians. But they were, oh man, after this first day I was bored out of my head because they had a schedule throughout the day. Basically they prayed in the mornings, which is fine, I'm Catholic, whatever. And they would pray in the mornings and then kind of like do their little exercise as a group, and then mid-afternoon do little group activities, and by night they have their concerts, and they would be doing their Christian stuff. And I found a group of others who snuck in beers and a bunch of drugs. This was back in New Zealand, by the way. And I was like, fuck yeah, my people. I was I was like 21 or something, maybe 20, and I'm like, I've spent, it was like $180 that I paid for to get in, right? And I'm there for 3 days. And these guys had like fucking hash cookies and a bunch of other drugs, like edibles, basically.
You wouldn't have. You almost died from hash cookies?
Well, I thought I was dying.
You thought you were dying. You can't die.
Okay, I probably wasn't dying, but I thought I was dying because it was laced with who knows what. And I went in the tent, and I honestly thought I was like suffocating, and I thought the tent was eating me. It was closing in on me. I was also drunk, and I had to be.
And you're also 21.
I was 21, right? And I had to be taken out of there because they had to call the ambulance. I thought I was dying. I was like, I can't breathe. But I was breathing, obviously. And ever since then, I've been traumatized, not wanting to go. And it was bullshit too, because I'm short, right? When I go to the mosh pit, I can't see. All I see is shoulders and backs. So it was useless.
No, that must suck.
It sucked. It's like...
And then you gotta try and get to the front, and then you just get crushed.
And then I get elbowed in the face, you know.
Oh, because everyone's doing that, and it normally hits here, but you're getting
like,
in there.
God, you know, and I'm just like, I fucking hated it. I've never gone to this day, I haven't gone to another concert. What's that church that not illegally...
Hillsong?
Hillsong, yeah. But those guys, man, those guys are millionaires.
They get a lot of money.
Billionaires.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, because you go to, like, I remember growing up, you go to their... I don't know if... I didn't go to Hillsong's. It was, like, a different one, Planet Shakers or whatever.
I've been to that one. Oh,
but
God.
they'd have, like, these, like... They'd have the money... What is it?
The money collection.
Money collection, and sometimes they go for, like, 20 minutes, half an hour.
Oh, dude.
Or an hour. I don't know.
That's the whole thing.
Or, like, like half of it's that. Just, like...
It's the same as open mics, basically, but, like, you know...
We could
you come in for free, but you know...
We could learn from that, man. Next open mic we do, we spend 60 to 70 minutes talking about how you got to give some money to this thing. I don't know if it's necessarily... I don't think they're trying to scam. I just think it's just like...
It's a scam, man.
I think it's just that, you know, they get carried away. You know? You know, like...
You can't say
that. Like, they start... They start and then...
She told me to stop,
little bit.
I just got carried away. It's the same as that.
Little bit, you know, they're just
we were kissing and then...
No, like, they have, like... They do the things, and then little by little, they're like, "Oh, this money's coming, and that's kind of nice."
Last night I made $100.
As the months and months go by, then all of a sudden, like, the amount of time they spend going, "Please give me money," increases.
So basically, you're telling me it's a snowball effect, and they're rolling down the hill.
You know
they can't stop it.
You know how nice it feels when you get lots of money.
Great, yeah, sure.
And then you're like, "Hey, wait, I didn't do this to get lots of money, but this feels good." And then you slowly you're like, "Hey, man, give me more money. Hey, you know what? Give me that feels good." And then before you know it, 90% of the time spent there's asking for more money.
So they're a product of their own doing and...
Their own success.
Their own success, yeah. The product of their own success. It's not about God anymore. Oh, man.
Oh, who knows? I don't know.
Come on, man. It's about money. And that's what it is, man. Money makes the world fucking... What's the saying?
Go round?
Go around, that's right, yeah. See that?
Or at this point, money makes the world go down.
Yeah?
All the corruption in that.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. The Philippines, they're still... they're still in the process of nominating their new president. And Manny Pacquiao...
He didn't win, did he?
No, they haven't announced yet.
But he could win?
I hope... Nah, look, he's one of the candidates, but he's not going to win. You know, but he does have a good following. He does have a massive following.
Yeah.
That are voting for him. And that's a scary thing. If you think Trump winning presidency is insane, Manny Pacquiao, he didn't finish primary school, and now he's running to run a country that has 120 million people with an education of a kindergarten. Like, put it this way, like, let's say, right, you get on your jumbo plane on the way to fucking the UK. And you're like all comfortable. You're like, I paid fucking first class tickets to go to the UK. Yeah, I'm keen. And then they put on the announcer, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest pilot for this evening. He's a celebrity." And you're like, what the fuck? And they go, "Oh, please welcome our pilot for this evening, Mr. Manny Pacquiao." You'd get off. He hasn't had any flying hours yet, but he is studying. Like, he's studying.
It's like he hasn't had any flying experience, but he has seen a plane fly before.
He has been on many planes because he's
a boxer. Because he's a boxer.
He's been in many, and that's what it is. Like, he's still studying politics. He's studying.
That's probably easy. There's probably just a button in a plane now. Probably anyone.
He's still studying politics as he's running for presidency. He's basically a pilot.
How would you study politics in the Philippines? Like, who do you give money to get the votes or whatever?
I've seen him because he's trying to pass all these laws before he's even a president, right? And one of the laws he's trying to put through is this new boxing association. You know how there's, for example, if you like AFL here in Australia, there's rules and guidelines and government help, because that's pretty much a national sport, right?
Yeah.
AFL.
Oh, here.
Yeah, here in Australia.
But don't say that up north.
It's rugby league.
It's rugby.
It's rugby, mate.
It's rugby.
And he's trying to pass this law, where the government has to fund boxers, but it has to funnel through his corporation and business. And he's trying to pass this law, but it's like it's impossible to have that government help, because boxing is like an individual sport, like just like how tennis is. The government don't help out individual tennis players because you go up through the ranks. If you were to try and give funding to tennis players like how they
here, they do.
No, they don't. Surely they don't. Or do they?
Australian.
They help out. Well, okay, it's a much richer country, man.
They help out everyone. They give lots of money.
Even
to people.
Filipinos don't get government, and it's insane.
I know. Yeah.
I think I've already told you. That's a whole nother fucking hole that we got.
It's a different situation. Yeah.
Well, like he's trying to pass all these ridiculous laws, and I remember this is one of the questions they asked Manny Pacquiao, and basically the question was like, how can you justify like the government wanting to give money to each individual boxers that need help if they got to fight overseas and they got to fight.
But you're
locally.
saying it's just boxing with all these sports in the world, just boxing.
And then it has to funnel through your organization.
But that'd be pretty good for the Philippines, you know. You just put lots of money into boxing. Everyone knows how to fight.
It's just a way to racket money out of the government. And then this is what Manny Pacquiao said. It's so sad. And it translated in English, he goes, I can't remember, Miss Treasurer or whatever, the treasurer, right? Yeah. Miss Treasurer, you're asking me too many questions at once. It's like a combination. It's like jab, jab, hook, uppercut. Can you just go like one jab at a time? This is in the Parliament houses. That's how we fucking addressed that question, because he wasn't comprehending the question. He had to say, can you not go with? He just had to do it in
boxing terms. Yeah, that's what he knows.
And then she asked the same exact questions. Like she goes, I don't think it's a very hard question to answer. And I was just like, damn, if he becomes the president, what happens to the Philippines?
They become the #1 boxing country
in
the world.
Everything will become the best fighters in the world. Maybe
everything will be like just in ruins, but you'll have some good boxers though.
Nobody will fuck with me anymore.
Teachers will just be like, all teachers will know how to box. Just like
all teachers will get beaten up by the kids. Oh, that would be an insane world. Like, please don't let it happen. Please, you know. Who do you think should become president? Do you think every country should have a president? Or do you think there should be one world leader?
No.
Or
one world leader
governed by just the people? How do you think the world should be run? Because the world's fucked right now.
So in Europe they have the EU, and they have like
they have a leader for the whole.
They
of
have
Europe.
like the European Central Bank and that kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
So like everyone votes in all these countries for who they want to be part of like their president or prime minister or whatever. But then the head of the European Central Bank isn't voted in.
Okay.
So they get to make decisions without a democratic vote on economic policy that happens throughout the whole of Europe.
Okay.
So then it's like people are then separated from the process of democratic like rule. So like what happens is that's what they've been doing is like they've been creating like European like powers that are not connected to a vote.
Okay.
So all these decisions can be made.
Yeah, but my idea is different. Mine's like they govern everyone in the world.
But the more centralized you make it, the less voice people have.
Yeah, but this person that we're hoping, you know, that gets... you would hope that the person they put into power is a more sympathetic type of leader who wants...
Who's they put into power? Everything's run by like lobbying and special interests.
But I'm hoping
as if that world leader's not going to be run by lobbying and special interests.
Well, you know the Argentinian president, right? I forgot his name. It's like Pablo something.
Argentina's economy is screwed though.
Yeah. But this guy, he gives 90% of his wages to the people. Like he doesn't care about money. This Argentinian president, I can't remember his name to the top of my head.
He's there now.
He's still currently the president, I believe. But I think it could be Chile. You know, I don't want to sound racist, but it's some.
I mean, they're next
South
to each other.
Yeah, some South American country, and this dude, he's like, gives 90% of his wages to the people, because he's like, that's enough for me to live on 10% of my wage that I get, you know, yearly, and gives it away. He drives like a second-hand fucking Mitsubishi.
No, you're talking about I think you're talking about Bolivia, yeah.
It could be.
Whatever his name is.
I thought it was Argentina, but okay, it could be Bolivia. But some dude.
Morales? Yeah.
Yeah, I said Pablo. But like
Pablo Morales.
Yeah, Pablo Morales. Hey, my name's Lorenzo. I can say that. Lorenzo. But yeah, I think it could work. How do you want to wrap this up? And what is there to look forward to your podcast? I mean, you got a taste. They got a taste.
Yeah, some good taste. Yeah, we're just
taster.
Talking with comedians and talk about sketches and doing sketches and
and our point of views and the world. Yeah.
That's a wrap from This Is a Podcast.
This is a podcast.
Nah, that'll be taken for sure.
That's a wrap for
Characters in Cars with Lorenzo.
That's a wrap for.
I'll work it out later.
That's a wrap for Podcast with Nicky and Lorenzo.
Podcast with Nicky and Lorenzo.
Signing out.
Peace.